I always celebrated my family's special days, but they never remembered my birthday. This year, for my sister's party, I planned a special surprise. As my mom and sister entered the living room, their faces turned pale. What? What is this? I smiled, lifted my glass, and said coldly, "Let's enjoy your special day. Shall we?" The morning in Arizona began with the same vivid blue sky as always. The sun shone brightly on the row of mansions at the foot of Camelback Mountain. In one of the most sophisticated condominiums in D.C. Ranch, Scottsdale's upscale residential area, Jennifer Wilson was completing her early morning routine. As usual, she had woken up at 5:30 a.m., finished her jog, taken a shower, and was now fastening her pearl necklace. Her reflection in the mirror showed a youthful, trim figure. Her stylish pantsuit, which complemented her 5 feet 9 inches frame, exuded the dignity befitting her position as a senior analyst at Morgan & Stanley. Before heading to the office, Jennifer began her monthly task. She opened her MacBook and pulled up the online banking screen. It was time to send the monthly support payment to her mother, Patricia. Then, she entered the usual amount for her sister Rachel's support payment. Her finger showed a slight hesitation as it hovered over the transfer button. "Jenny, I need to discuss something with you." Her mother's phone call came just as she had finished dressing. Her refined voice suggested perfectly styled blonde hair and immaculate makeup. "About Rachel's birthday party, I want to make it extra special this year. I'm thinking of booking the Phoenician's Grand Ballroom. You'll help with that, won't you?" "The ballroom?" Jennifer frowned. "That'll cost more than double the usual. But this year is special. Rachel's Instagram followers have surpassed 20,000. Plus, her real estate closings have been increasing." After hanging up, Jennifer picked up her smartphone and opened her mother's Instagram. The latest post showed her sister smiling in front of a new Porsche, garnering numerous likes and comments. Casually, she checked her own tagged photos on Instagram. There were only a handful with her mother and sister. Most were work-related or from charity events. She pulled out an old album from the back of her closet. Dusting it off, she turned the pages. 5th birthday, 10th birthday, 16th birthday, she noticed there wasn't a single photo of her own birthdays. Instead, pages upon pages were filled with photos of her sister's birthday parties. Elaborate cakes, mountains of presents, her radiant smile surrounded by numerous guests. Jennifer quietly closed the album and stood up. From her office's large windows, she could see the Scottsdale skyline. The morning sun reflected off the glass surfaces of the high rises, making the entire city appear to shimmer in gold. Touching her pearl necklace, Jennifer steeled her resolve. She needed to begin preparations for her sister's next birthday party. She would organize 30 years of records and prepare the legal documents to terminate support. She would wait for the perfect moment to expose everything. From her study drawer, she pulled out a thick paper file. The words Wilson Family Trust, Termination Notice coldly reflected the light. The grand ballroom at the Phoenician Hotel was bathed in the soft light of dusk. The crystal chandeliers cast a warm, golden glow that seemed to capture the desert sunset itself. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows, one could see the Scottsdale skyline and the majestic silhouette of Camelback Mountain. Jennifer was in a corner of the venue, making final checks. The champagne tower formed a perfect triangle, with Dom Perignon bottles beautifully reflecting the light. White damask tablecloths covered the tables, with Baccarat glasses arranged at precise intervals. On the central stage, members of a Desert Swing, a popular local jazz band, were finishing their equipment setup. "Ms. Wilson, the projector and screen are ready," the event coordinator whispered. Jennifer nodded quietly. The cold touch of the USB drive in her bag reaffirmed her determination. As it turned past 6 p.m., guests began arriving in steady streams. Scottsdale's elite appeared in attire befitting their status. Women were dressed in cocktail dresses, while men were uniformly in dark suits. Her mother's charity circle, local real estate industry leaders, and particularly influential members of Rachel's social media following. "Jennifer, you look lovely tonight." Her mother approached. A Chanel tweed jacket and Harry Winston necklace. Beneath her perfect makeup, a hint of tension showed. "Thank you for letting me handle the party preparations, Mom." Jennifer gave a gentle smile. The pearl necklace at her throat moved slightly with her deep breath. As 7 p.m. approached, the party's highlight drew near. The band began playing a light bossa nova, and the atmosphere grew more festive. Over 200 guests were enjoying their drinks and conversation. "Ms. Rachel Wilson has arrived." The announcement echoed through the entrance. After a moment of silence, spotlights concentrated on the doorway. Rachel entered wearing a crimson Oscar de la Renta dress, beaming with a full smile. Her latest Instagram trending hairstyle was indeed photogenic. In her right hand was the newest Hermes bag, And in her left, she clutched the latest iPhone. Rachel, darling. Patricia rushed over to embrace her daughter. Today is your special day. Warm applause erupted from the venue. Rachel struck a practiced pose as several influencers captured the moment. Thank you all for joining us today to celebrate my beloved daughter Rachel's birthday. Patricia began her speech with microphone in hand. Rachel has made her mark in Scottsdale's real estate industry. She's truly my mother's pride. Congratulatory speeches from local dignitaries followed. Meanwhile, Jennifer waited quietly in the wings of the stage. Event staff turned on the projector and completed the screen test. And now, it's time for the presents. The MC announced. Shopping bags from luxury brands and jewelry store boxes were presented one after another. Rachel squealed with delight as she opened each present, immediately uploading to her Instagram stories. Jennifer slowly walked toward the stage. Her tall silhouette emerged in the spotlight. Everyone, I too have a special present. The room fell silent. Jennifer's voice was surprisingly calm. Rachel, Mom. Shall we take a look back at what I've given you over these past 30 years? The first image appeared on the screen. 5th birthday. Jennifer sitting alone in an empty house's living room. Next to it, a cold display of support payment amounts. What is this? Mother's voice trembled. Images continued changing. 10th birthday, Jennifer studying alone in the school library. 16th birthday, a girl crying at her cafe workplace. And beside each, records of steadily increasing support payments. The room froze. Rachel's iPhone slipped from her hand, making a dull thud on the carpet. Jennifer raised her champagne glass, displaying an icy smile. Well then, shall we enjoy your special day? The slideshow continued. College tuition, luxury car lease payments, condominium down payments, countless branded items. The final slide coldly displayed a total figure of $10 million. This is my final present. The atmosphere in the room grew heavy. A small murmur began spreading among the guests. Some had already taken out their smartphones and begun recording this shocking scene. The Desert Swing members had stopped playing, staring at the stage in astonishment. Patricia's perfect makeup began to crumble. Rachel covered her face with trembling hands and began sobbing. Her expensive mascara ran down her cheeks. Oh, Rachel. Those tears would probably get lots of likes on Instagram. Jennifer's cold voice echoed through the silent room. Jennifer. What is the meaning of this? Patricia's scream rang through the frozen venue. Her perfectly styled hair was disheveled, revealing an agitated expression she never showed in public. The meaning? Jennifer slowly lowered her glass. I'm simply telling the truth, Mom. Lies. They're all lies. Rachel cried between sobs. You just want to humiliate us, don't you? The murmuring among the guests grew louder. Smartphones were pointed at the scene, flashes going off. Women in luxury brands whispered among themselves, while men watched the situation with furrowed brows. Jennifer elegantly took out documents from her bag. Would you like to see the evidence? New images appeared on the screen. Bank transaction histories, transfer records, payment details. All perfectly organized as PDF files. Rachel's first Porsche. Lease contract and monthly payments, totaling $128,000. The screen changed. Emergency loan to save mom's company from crisis, $2,500,000.0. Another change. For Rachel's Instagram posts. Hermes, Chanel, Louis Vuitton, luxury goods totaling $680,000 each. Record was presented as a cold, hard fact. Stop, please, stop. Rachel collapsed to the floor. Not yet, Rachel. Jennifer's voice was quiet, but each word reached every corner of the room. Your real estate deals, did you really think they were solely based on your own abilities? Using my client list without permission, exploiting my credibility. Be quiet. Patricia reached out to stop her. On her arm gleamed the Cartier bracelet Jennifer had given her last Christmas. Shall I explain how much being the sister of a Morgan & Stanley senior analyst helped? New materials appeared on the screen. Detailed records of Rachel's real estate transactions. Client names, transaction amounts, and actual commission breakdowns. A graphic showed how most profits flowed to Patricia's company under the guise of referral fees. The atmosphere in the room began to shift. As guests moved past their initial shock and began understanding the situation, their eyes turned coldly toward Patricia and Rachel. The real estate industry representatives' expressions were particularly stern. And Mom, Jennifer pulled out new documents. Shall we discuss your company's fraudulent accounting? The color drained from Patricia's face. You didn't. I'm an analyst, Mom. Reading numbers is my job. Jennifer continued in a matter-of-fact tone. I noticed all the unnatural number movements in last year's financial statements. But I kept quiet all this time. Want to know why? Silence dominated the room. The Desert Swing members remained frozen, instruments in hand. Because Jennifer's voice trembled slightly. We're family. At those words, Rachel's sobbing stopped. But I'm ending it now. Jennifer took out the final document. The words Wilson Family Trust, termination notice gleamed under the spotlight. This is my final present. Notice of immediate support termination. My legal team has already sent it to all relevant parties. You're abandoning us. Patricia cried out. Jennifer gave a cynical smile. Interesting choice of words. Did you ever remember my birthday? Even once? The entire room held its breath at those words. Every year, your birthdays. Mother's Day, Christmas, Thanksgiving. I never failed to celebrate them. I prepared perfect presents and parties. But you, Jennifer took a deep breath and steadied her voice. On my 5th birthday, Mom was away closing a real estate deal. When I turned 10, everyone was at Rachel's ballet recital. On my 16th birthday, I was working at a cafe to earn tuition money. That day, Rachel was getting a new designer bag. Each memory was thrown like a sharp blade. Mr. Martinez, Jennifer called out to an elderly lawyer in one corner of the room. Would you please explain the documents? The lawyer in a gray suit quietly stepped forward. By this notice, all financial support from Jennifer Wilson to Patricia Wilson and Rachel Wilson is terminated effective immediately. This includes monthly support payments, credit card usage rights, asset management advice, and all credit endorsements and real estate transactions. A notification sound rang from Rachel's smartphone. Her face turned pale. The card, it's been suspended. Patricia hurriedly took out her own smartphone from her bag. The screen showed notifications from multiple banks. Yes, everything has been stopped, Jennifer calmly stated. Your pretense of a life ends today. Near the entrance, guests began quietly leaving. Patricia's charity circle friends turned away with stern expressions. Rachel's social media followers desperately recorded this shocking development. This is the special surprise I chose. Jennifer raised her glass and delivered her final words. Happy birthday, Rachel. Scottsdale was buzzing with its biggest scandal yet. Local media covered the story on their front pages. Patricia Wilson and Associates' stock price fell 30% within the first hour of trading and was suspended. Rachel's Instagram followers plummeted from 20,000 to 5,000 in 24 hours. Her former likes were overwhelmed by a wave of mocking comments. Meanwhile, in Jennifer's office, the usual calm prevailed. She focused on creating investment analysis reports. Her pearl necklace swayed slightly with her typing movements. Ms. Wilson. Her secretary quietly knocked and entered. A letter from your mother. The letter had read the Phoenician Resort and Spa. Patricia had apparently left home and was staying at the hotel. Opening the envelope revealed a letter written in trembling handwriting. Dear Jennifer, what have I done? On your 5th birthday, I was indeed at the office. I told myself it was to support the family. No more excuses. On your 10th birthday, prioritizing Rachel's ballet recital was my foolish decision. On your 16th birthday, while you were working at the cafe, we were indulging in luxury boutique shopping. What an ugly mother I've been. Only now, having lost everything, do I realize. We took your love and support for granted, exploiting them thoroughly. We drowned in vanity and pretense, losing sight of what truly mattered. Patricia Wilson and Associates ceases operations today. Taking responsibility for the fraudulent accounting, I'm stepping down from all positions. I'm also giving up the luxury condominium. This is the beginning of my atonement. With deep regret. Mom. Jennifer quietly set down the letter. Outside the window, Arizona's strong sunlight beat down mercilessly. The secretary entered again. Your sister is waiting in the lobby. Jennifer sighed deeply. Show her in. Minutes later, Rachel entered. Gone was her usual heavy makeup, showing a face closer to natural. Instead of a luxury brand bag, she carried a simple tote. Sis. Rachel's voice trembled. I lost my job. My real estate license, it might be revoked. I see. Jennifer responded quietly. My social media followers have plummeted, all sponsorship contracts cancelled. Rachel's voice caught. I had lost sight of my true self. I'm glad you realized that. Jennifer stood and walked to the window. You're only 28. Still young enough to start over. But, how? First, apologize, Jennifer turned around. To your social media followers, your real estate clients, and, to me. Rachel fell to her knees. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Her sister's shoulders shook violently. Just then, Jennifer noticed an old photo frame on her desk. 30 ago, 5th birthday. A lonely girl sitting in an empty living room. Rachel. Jennifer quietly approached her sister. I want to suggest family counseling. Rachel looked up. I think we three need time to properly face each other. I've been recommended to Dr. Sarah Thompson. Every Thursday evening at 5. Sis, do you still? I'm not abandoning you. Jennifer looked straight into her sister's eyes. But I want to build an equal relationship from now on. As a real family, not controlled by money and appearances. That night, a message arrived from Patricia. I would like to participate in the counseling. The mother and daughters were no longer seen at Scottsdale Fashion Square's luxury stores. Instead, they could be found sitting face to face at the local community center. Sometimes they blamed each other, shed tears, but slowly, surely, they moved closer together. Dr. Thompson quietly watched over their progress. Forgiveness doesn't mean erasing the past. Dr. Thompson's words echoed in the therapy room. It's a starting point for building new relationships. Almost a year had passed since that day. Arizona spring was still wrapped in gentle sunlight. In a small office building in Paradise Valley, a modest sign reading Wilson Real Estate Consulting gleamed. In a cozy reception room, Patricia was advising young real estate agents. There's no need to put on airs. What's important is listening to your client's real needs. Her voice had lost its former arrogance, replaced by genuine weight backed by experience. On her desk lay a book titled Honest Business, Honest Life. It was Patricia's authored work, advocating the importance of ethical business practices in the real estate industry. A few miles away in a downtown office building, Rachel faced her desk in the Human Resources Department, seriously reviewing documents. Gone were the flashy makeup and accessories, replaced by a simple suit. Her desk was piled with qualification exam study materials. Ms. Wilson, your new employee training presentation materials are very well written. Her supervisor commented. Rachel smiled sheepishly. Social media follower counts were no longer her concern. And at the Morgan & Stanley office, Jennifer, wearing her pearl necklace as always, had just finished an investment analysis report. Ms. Wilson, happy birthday. Her secretary entered with a small bouquet. On her desk calendar, birthday, was written in red pen. Thank you. As Jennifer started to respond, her smartphone vibrated. It was a message from her mother. Happy birthday, dear Jennifer. We'll be waiting at Paradise Bakery and Cafe at 7 p.m. Rachel will be there too. Love, Mom. Not at a fancy restaurant, but at the cafe where Jennifer had worked part-time as a student. There was deep meaning in that choice. When Jennifer arrived at the cafe that evening, her mother and sister greeted her warmly. On the table was a homemade birthday cake. Though amateur in appearance, they had made it together. Open this. Rachel handed her an album. The cover read Our Real Family Memories. Inside were carefully preserved photos from the past year. Their serious expressions during family counseling, the three of them participating in local volunteer activities, enjoying hiking at Camelback Mountain on holidays. And on the last page, the photo from her 5th birthday 30 years ago. Next to the picture of the empty living room was a blank space, ready for tonight's photo. We've distorted our relationships with money and appearances, Patricia began quietly. But after losing everything, we could see what truly matters. Rachel nodded. Even with money, my heart wasn't fulfilled. Now I understand the importance of moving forward one step at a time on my own. Outside the window, Arizona's sunset was painting the city in its usual beautiful colors. Actually, I have something to announce too. Jennifer hesitated slightly before continuing. I've been transferred to Morgan & Stanley's Chicago branch. Her mother and sister's expressions tensed for a moment. But I'll come back every month. I want to continue our family counseling. And Jennifer smiled. I want to watch over you both as you become independent. Thank you, Jenny. Tears glistened in her mother's eyes. We'll never forget your birthday again. Just then, the cafe door opened, and familiar faces began filing in. Dr. Thompson, young real estate agents, Rachel's new colleagues. Everyone carried small presents. Surprise? Rachel called out joyfully. This time, it's our special surprise for you. The birthday song gently filled the cafe. Patricia embraced her daughter, while Rachel lit the candles on the cake. Jennifer closed her eyes and made a wish. May our true family bonds last forever. When the candles were blown out, warm applause erupted. The large windows of Paradise Bakery and Cafe reflected the image of a happy family. No expensive decorations, no luxurious food, no flashy production. But there was genuine love. A new photo was added to the album's last page. The three genuine smiles seemed to speak of hope for the future. The story of this family quietly spread through Scottsdale. On social media, A movement began to reevaluate true family values rather than appearances and pretense. And as Arizona spring returns each year, under the unchanging blue sky, this family's new story continues to add page after page.